Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Snark Bait. I'm Christy.
I'm Sophie, and we are taking another trip to Bachelor Nation and covering Colton Underwood. Ugh, his
Ugh.
background, his football career, his stint on The Bachelorette, The Bachelor, Bachelor in Paradise, his stalking scandal. Trigger warning, you guys. It's very disturbing. His coming out and the fact that reality TV executives still keep trying to push him on us. Anyway, let's get into it. We have a lot to dive into. Are you ready, Christy?
Let's do it.
Good morning, Christy.
Hey Sophie, how are you?
I am okay. It's bright and early. I mean, it's even earlier for you. It's 6 a.m. Christy's time on Tuesday, September 9th. And I guess there's some technical difficulties with podcasts. I know it'll be fixed by the time this episode comes out, but yeah, so we were dealing with that this morning. Uh and yeah, what a morning.
What a morning it's been already. I'm so glad though to be chatting about this person with you today.
Hmm.
Every time we do a Bachelor adjacent episode, I find that it gets a lot of comments. Like people just feel
Hmm.
very strongly about certain Bachelor franchise people. And I think this person is going to be no exception. As you guys can see from the title, we're talking about Colton Underwood. And I'm so glad Sophie was able to knock out the outline, not a problem. And
No,
like,
literally, you guys. Like we were supposed to, we actually had a different person slated in for this episode. Not to call you out, Christy. Christy was like, "Hey, I like do not have time to work on these notes or study up on this person, do my research." And I was like, "Not a problem at all. I can whip up Colton Underwood with my eyes closed." So I did.
it reminds me of the early days of the podcast when Sophie and I were just two woman show.
Yeah.
And Sophie would say, yeah, Craig Conover, easy.
Easy. Could do it with my
It's
eyes closed.
Yeah. So I'm so happy you were able to whip this up really quickly. Did you, Sophie, watch his season of The Bachelor? And did you watch him on Becca Kufrin's season?
So I watched him on Becca Kufrin season. I actually consciously decided to not watch his season of The Bachelor because I did not like him. I was one of those people that was not happy when he was announced. Did you
See,
watch it?
you're always on the right side of history. And yes, unfortunately, I did. And I think this was kind of the last. Well, no, that's a lie. Peter Weber was really, I think, the last season that the show really was at the top of its game in terms of ratings, viewers,
Hmm.
etc. But I remember just really disliking a lot of the women on his show and really disliking him. Just in general, the season did not cast a bunch of characters that I enjoyed watching. If you guys are forgetting, he had Kaylin, he had
Yeah.
Cassie, who ended up winning, he had Hannah Godwin.
Yeah. Demi Burnett. Also, Tasha.
Oh yeah, I
This was
forgot Tasha.
Tasha's breakout season. Uh, yeah, I did not watch his season. Again, conscious decision. Didn't like him at the time. Uh, but guess what I did watch as I was getting ready this morning?
Hmm.
Are You My First on Hulu? The show that he now co-hosts with Caitlin Bristow. It is so bad, you guys.
Oh my
I
God.
would only do this for research purposes.
Oh my God, Sophie, I didn't even realize that was airing. I knew they were teasing it. It's
Yeah.
on?
It's on. No one's talking about it. No one's watching it for good reason.
Yeah.
Uh can I just say also that at the beginning of the episode, so I watched probably 20, 30 minutes of the pilot.
Mm.
At the beginning of the episode, it goes from Caitlin's voice narrating to Colton's. And then Colton goes, "If you're wondering why we just changed narrators, you just lost your two narrator virginity."
Uh,
I swear to God.
Something about him is so deeply insidious.
Oh,
It's
yes.
so insidious. And to be quite honest, when he was on Becca Kufrin season, I remember really, really disliking him as well.
Yes.
I
Yes.
caved because,
Yeah.
I have no morals. But I remember just thinking he's such a fraud. And I had an
Hmm.
inkling. I don't like to out, I'm not publicly outing or whatever, but in my mind and amongst my friend group who were diehard Bachelor fans as well, we all kept saying, dude, this guy is not into any of these women.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess let's just get into it. Obviously, like Christy said, there's a lot of insidiousness there when it comes to Colton's story, some of his scandals. Actually, it's just really one big scandal, and it's a bad one. And yeah, just for the record, do not watch Are You My First? It is really bad. It's terrible. And I only do it for you guys. I do it because I love the baby Snarks. But again, I'm not going to watch it anymore. I just
Wait,
watched the
quickly,
first.
Sophie, are you my first? Can you walk me quickly through the premise of the show?
Oh, sorry, guys.
I'm
The
actually just
premise,
curious.
the
Yeah.
premise of the show, it's a dating show for virgins. So it's a bunch of virgins on an island, and they all have different reasons. Like one of the women on the show, when she's talking about having vaginismus, which is why she is a virgin. So
What's
they all
that?
have like different, it's like when your vagina, oh my God, I'm gonna sound so stupid. Like I don't know the exact like medical description, but it's when your vagina clenches up
Okay.
when you try to insert anything in it.
Got it. Okay.
So it's they all have their different reasons. Cool. I would maybe consider watching it if Colton Underwood was not one of the co-hosts. And I think that they shot themselves in the foot by having him be one of the hosts because no one wants to watch Colton. Not only because of his problematic nature, but because he's boring and not likable. And that's why I didn't like him when he was on Becca Kufrin's season, even before, it came out that he's a horrible person.
I also never found him. I guess he's not really my type, but when he was on Becca season, I'm like, I'm not attracted to this man at all. I'm not saying he's objectively handsome. For
Yeah.
me, not my type.
He's very like pretty,
Yeah.
which like is some people's type. Yeah, not really mine. But okay, let's get into it. So, if you guys are unfamiliar, just a brief overview. Colton Underwood is a reality star, former Bachelorette contestant, and later Bachelor lead, who is the first former lead of the Bachelor franchise to later come out as gay. He is accused, the scandal that we were previously talking about, accused of stalking and harassing the woman that he chose on his season of The Bachelor. And it's really bad, you guys. We will obviously talk all about it. The worst part is he got awarded his own Netflix show afterwards.
If this were a woman doing what Colton did, you would never hear from her again. The fact that he got his own Netflix show, right? Like, I think it was within a year. I remember the turnaround being very quick. Maybe not a
Oh,
year, but it
it
was very
was.
quick.
No, it was a year. It was a year.
Yeah.
I have the timeline. It was late 2020 is when the stalking scandal became public, and early 2021 is when he not only came out, but then announced that he was having this new Netflix show called Coming Out Colton. And I think it was
Reprehensible.
April 2021. I know, insane. And he now has a thriving career. Uh, as you guys can see, he is now hosting Are You My First on Hulu alongside Caitlin Bristow. He has been cast in the fourth season of The Traitors. It is just confounding to me. It really is. It's just, it makes no sense. I don't know why reality TV producers, Hollywood is trying to like push him on us still. We don't want Colton. He is very disturbing and triggering. Anyway, so as for his background, he was born in Indianapolis, Indiana, to parents Scott and Donna Underwood. Both of his parents were star athletes at Illinois State University. For Scott, it was football. For Donna, it was volleyball. He has a younger brother named Connor, and they were raised Catholic. He ultimately was raised in Illinois and eventually followed in his father's footsteps by playing football at Illinois State University as well. And he was a defensive end. And what's funny about his football career is that he like never actually he was touted as kind of this NFL star on Becca Kufrin's season. Like that's his
Yeah.
whole thing. It's like, oh my God, NFL hottie. He was only on practice squads. Like he never actually played.
Interesting. Yeah, that was his whole claim to fame when he was first introduced on the show.
And not saying it's not still like impressive to like be on an NFL team's like practice squad, but like he wasn't like he didn't really have like a career, a real career playing. But anyway, in May 2014, he signed as an undrafted free agent with the San Diego Chargers, but was waived soon after. And then he signed onto the practice squads of the Eagles, Raiders, Chargers again, but was ultimately released from all of them. Obviously, the NFL is extremely competitive. Uh, it's still impressive to be on a practice squad, but I don't know. I still think it's funny that it's like, oh my God, NFL star.
Yeah, I remember they kind of touted Jordan Rogers as well, but Jordan Rogers was living in the
Oh,
shadow of Aaron's dream.
of,
And that was a huge like plot in JoJo season, which I
yeah.
believe was JoJo season before or after, before Becca
Yeah,
Kufrin's.
JoJo's season was 2016 and Becca's season was 2018.
Gotcha.
He Jordan literally was living in the shadow of Aaron's dream.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now let's take a quick break to talk about our sponsors. It's finally fall, and as much as I love sweater weather and crispy leaves, this is the time where my skin really starts drying out and acting up. And that's why I'm so thankful for OneSkin's Skin Longevity Moisturizer. It's so deeply hydrating. It's like giving my skin a tall glass of water. It's like giving my skin a glass of Jacob Elordi. For daytime, I love their face SPF also. That's my next step after moisturizer before I apply my makeup. And for nighttime, I always like to go to bed looking like a glazed donut and lather it on. And I also swear by their eye cream. It's great for 30 somethings like myself. Now that we're getting those little fine under eye lines, but obviously it's never too early or too late to find a great eye cream. At OneSkin's core is their planted OSON peptide. It's the first ingredient proven to target senescent cells, the root cause of nefarious wrinkles, crepiness, and loss of elasticity, all key signs of skin aging, with results validated in 5 published clinical studies. That might be why they count so many ageless celebrities like Jennifer Aniston and Katy Perry as fans. OneSkin is the world's first skin longevity company. By focusing on the cellular aspects of aging, OneSkin keeps your skin looking and acting younger for longer. For a limited time, you can try OneSkin for 15% off using code SNARK at oneskin.co. That's 15% off oneskin.co with code SNARK. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Give your skin the scientifically proven gentle care it deserves with OneSkin. This show is brought to you by BetterHelp. We've all done it before. Talk to our hairstylists, bartenders, baristas, the group chat, even drunk girls in the bathroom for life advice. But let's be honest, they don't always have the answers. You know who does? A credentialed therapist online from BetterHelp. I've gone to therapy for years, and there truly is no better way to process things, learn coping skills, recover from trauma. Therapy has helped me more than I could ever express, and I don't know a single person who wouldn't benefit from it. And therapy isn't always accessible, which is why BetterHelp is an amazing tool. With over 30,000 licensed and credentialed therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, having served over 5 million people globally. And it's so convenient for literally everyone. You can meet with a therapist at the click of a button and can switch therapists at any time until you find the right fit. And again, they're credentialed, unlike the drunk girls in the bathroom. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Find the one with BetterHelp. And our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/snarkbait. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/snarkbait. As for Colton's bachelorette debut, shall I say, he was a contestant on Becca Kufrin's season of The Bachelorette. And this was one of the last seasons that I watched. I loved Becca. As you guys know, if you pay attention to the Bachelor franchise at all, Becca was fucked over by Ari Lyondike.
Oh my God. Remember that breakup scene, Sophie?
Oh my God, so crazy.
I remember reading Reality Steve religiously when I was super into the franchise and reading about Ari breaking up with Becca for Lauren and it being like the biggest thing since Jason Mesnick when he dumped Melissa
Yeah.
for Molly.
You guys, The Bachelor used to be appointment television.
Oh
I
my
don't know
God.
what happened, where they went wrong exactly, but yeah, it used to be like major.
We should do an episode on that on Patreon.
Like the
Like,
downfall of the Bachelor franchise, what went
yes, because I
wrong?
think there's so many factors. The Chris Harrison of it all, Love is Blind
Yeah.
coming out, all these other dating shows.
Yes.
I think there's a whole story there. That's a good add it to the
Jot
notes to
jot that down. Jot that down.
the...
So he ended up coming in fourth place and was eliminated after hometown dates. But besides being, this NFL star, Colton's storyline on the show was that he was a virgin. And there's always some virgin, whether it's The Bachelor, Bachelorette. I feel like it's more common on The Bachelor, where some of the women contestants are virgins, at least one a season, it feels like. But maybe it was a little less common that it was a guy.
And interestingly enough, sorry to interrupt, but I
No.
was just on TikTok watching a creator talking about how problematic Jessica Simpson's father Joe platformed her at the beginning of her career in the
Mm-hmm.
90s as this virgin, purity ring, purity culture, losing her
Mm-hmm.
virginity to Nick on her wedding night. And just the overall obsession that we as a society had on virgin culture and how so
Yeah.
many celebrities were platformed like Britney or Jessica as being virgins. And then we later
Yep.
found out that Britney slept with Justin and it was like this big controversy or, big thing. And I feel like we kind of stepped away from that in the late
Mhm.
2010s, in the 2018 era when Becca Kufrin's season aired. But this obsession with Colton's virginity, it felt quote unquote okay just because he was a man. And I bet you in
Mhm.
2018 we would be having different conversations at the time if someone on Colton's season were touted as a virgin, which now that I'm
Well,
thinking out,
Maddie Pruitt.
yeah, now that I was speaking out and out loud, the Bachelor franchise did
Yeah.
often harp on people's virginities, like Becca Tilly as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's kind of like puritanical. I don't know if that's the right word, but I feel like the Bachelor franchise, it's all about underratedly Christian values.
100%.
And for the record, virginity is a social construct. That's why this show, Are You My First? It's like, come on, we're still talking about virgins. Like, it's just, come on. Like, placing all of this importance on virginity or who you lose your virginity to. Guys, if you could see the guy that I lost my virginity to, ugh,
Like,
I
I
don't even
seriously,
want to talk about it. It's like it's not this big thing that I feel like, these shows have tried to, and growing up in the early 2000s, and it's like this big deal to maintain your virginity and then lose it. Like it's silly.
agreed, agreed. I think we're having very different conversations in 2020s
Yes,
now.
definitely. But I don't know if you knew this, and I only found this out when I was doing research for this episode that Colton later admitted that he'd had sexual encounters with men before joining The Bachelor or
Wh-
Bachelorette.
What? He
Just
admitted
not,
this?
yeah, just not women yet at the time. So
Wait,
he later, when he came out, he said that he was on Grinder and having encounters with men from 2016, 2017, and then he goes on The Bachelorette claiming to be a virgin in 2018. And I guess by his standards of being a virgin, it was just that he hadn't slept with a woman yet.
what? Wait, wait, sorry. He admitted this after the season, like recently or on the
No, it
season?
was when he came out. So around 2021,
Wow.
when he came out, he was like, I actually was just a virgin when it came to women. I had been sleeping with
Interesting.
men. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Sure.
So after his stint on The Bachelorette, he was cast on Bachelor in Paradise and had a fling with T Booth. I did watch this season of Bachelor in Paradise.
Dude,
Uh,
that's when the show was popping off.
yes, I was obsessed. He ended up breaking up with her and leaving the show on his own after a few weeks. Uh, but I remember watching the season and she was obsessed with him.
Sophie, I remember when early in the morning, when they were a couple, they would do like workouts on the beach. And then when he left, she was just devastated.
Yeah.
Oh my God, she must be so like,
I know. It's so funny to think back on now, I'm sure, for
yeah.
her that she
Oh
was
my,
so obsessed with Colton fucking Underwood.
yeah.
So after Bachelor in Paradise, he was cast as the lead for the 23rd season of The Bachelor in 2018. And he was chosen over, and I think it's interesting to think back on this era because, again, I watched Becca Kufrin season. Blake Horstman and Jason Tartick were both in the running also. They would have been amazing leads, in my opinion. Like, Blake was Becca's runner up. If you guys recall, she ended up choosing Garrett Urigan, or however you pronounce his last name, and he has turned out to be a very red pilled
Yes.
right wing. I think that's like
Yeah.
ultimately why they broke up.
Oh, 100%. Because Becca is very liberal.
Liberal.
Yes.
And Blake was runner up, and she had great chemistry with Blake. I remember thinking Blake was so cute.
Me too.
I loved Blake. And then Jason was your finance guy, New York, like stockbroker with like the slicked back hair. Like he
Yeah.
also was such a hottie that season. They would have been amazing. Amazing. I don't know what it is about Colton that reality TV executives are like him, even to this day.
You know what I think it was? Just if my memory recalls correctly, it's similar to what happened with Nick Vile when he was on Bachelor in Paradise. After being on 2 seasons of The
Mhm.
Bachelorette, he had this really good edit on Paradise, and so
Yeah.
people were pushing him for him to be the Bachelor. Is that why Colton got such a push to be the Bachelor? Was because he had a good edit?
I don't even remember his edit being that good. And I
Me
think with Nick
either.
Vile, at least, like there was something compelling about the fact that he was a perpetual runner up. He had been a runner up on 2 different seasons. And then in Bachelor in Paradise, he almost got engaged and then decided not to. So there was something compelling about that. With
Yeah.
Colton, there was nothing, as far as I could see it, really compelling or interesting about him. But again, it's like reality TV execs love him. I don't understand.
I don't. Yeah. I mean, I have no clue.
So, anyway, during his season, he was still, a virgin, publicly at least. And that was, I can't remember what the tagline was.
What does he have to
Oh, what
lose?
does he have to lose?
Yeah, that's what it was. That's hilarious.
Oh my God, I can't. And like we said at the top of the episode, there were many notable contestants on his season, including Kaylin Miller Keys, now married to Dean Unglert, Hannah Brown, Demi Burnett, Tasha, Hannah Godwin, who's now married to Dylan Barber. Uh, yeah, this was kind of like the golden age of the Bachelor franchise. A lot of these women are career influencers now because a lot of people were still watching back then.
Yep.
And he ended up choosing Cassie Randolph as his F1, even though she had quit earlier in the season. And again, I didn't watch it. So I want you to walk us through kind of what happened, if you can remember, because she apparently wasn't ready to get engaged. And then Colton was so upset that he jumped a fence.
From my recollection, they were in some safari. I don't know if they were in Africa or where exactly they were, but I do remember one of her family members flying in, which was unprecedented. They don't fly the family members in when you're that far in. Like outside of hometown dates, your family is not part of the equation at all. They had flown someone in. And I think after talking with this family member, she realized that this was not the path for her. So I think she self-eliminated. And
Yeah.
that's when Colton was absolutely off his rocker. He was told by production, hey, Cassie had a conversation with her family member. She doesn't think this is the journey for her anymore. She's now left the show. He got so upset that he jumped that fence. And that was like the jump over the fence that heard around the world. It was like the teaser for every single episode, and it did not disappoint. It was crazy to see a lead losing their shit like that. And production had to chase after him. I remember Chris Harrison had to get into a Sprinter van. They couldn't find him. He like hid underneath like a ravine. Like it was crazy.
Like that should have been red flag number one, that Colton is unhinged.
You're right. Yeah, it was unsettling to watch now that I'm thinking about it.
Unsettling for sure. And then also that Cassie, it's like, bro, she's not that into you. She's not that into
Yes.
you.
Oh,
But they end up she self-eliminated, but then I guess returned. And
Yep.
he ends up choosing her. Isn't that always how it goes? That it's like the girl that doesn't actually that's how it always goes with these like dating shows that have a male lead. I feel like the women choose differently. Usually they choose often the safer option. It's like, okay, this person genuinely loves me. They're not the one playing hard to get. I feel like with male leads, they always choose the one that isn't actually that into them. And that's why there's a lower success rate for Bachelor
Yeah,
couples.
yeah. And just sorry, I had to look it up. They were in Portugal, and Cassie's dad came to Portugal and basically had the conversation with her, and that's when she left. But yeah, I think that the success rate when it was a bachelorette season is far
Yes.
better. And I think it's
Yes.
because women, one, I think you're right. We see the longer term versus men
Mhm.
are more shorter term. Who am I just like in lust with, perhaps?
Mhm.
And I think women also just have better intuition and gut and can kind of go
Yeah.
off of that really quickly.
Yeah, and I feel like men like they're like competitive and they like the challenge. So it's like, oh, she's not that into me. I'm gonna force her to be into me. Did you ever watch Relationship? Shep
I did
Rose's dating show?
I did not, but I this was before I watched Southern Charm, which by the way, did you hear those rumors that Catherine Eubanks and her husband are separated or maybe
Cameron?
divorced? Yeah.
I saw that. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, me either. But sorry, what was the question? I got
Relationship. So I watched Relationship when it aired, and this was Shep Rose's like bachelor style dating show. It
Yeah.
was like in the era of like remember Catching Kelsey, Travis Kelsey's,
Of
which
course.
I also watched appointment television.
Yeah.
Uh Shep Rose did the same thing where there were, age appropriate. This was, oh my God, what year was this? Let me look it up.
2017-ish.
I want to say 2017. And you know what my barometer is for when a show was airing? I'm like,
Mm,
which apartment was I living in when I was watching it? And I'm like, this is the apartment that I was living in 2017. Um,
that's a good barometer.
so it was late 2017 going into 2018 was when Relationship aired. And so he had plenty of age appropriate contestants that were very into him. But then there was the 22-year-old who clearly was disgusted by him. Guess who he ended up choosing?
The 22-year-old that was disgusted by him. You're so
Yes.
right. It's
Yep.
so instinctual for men to want to just be down for the chase. So that makes so
Yep.
much sense for both Colton and relationship.
Yep. So Colton and Cassie, they did not get engaged, but they ended up dating. So they left the show together and they dated for a little under 2 years. In May
2020.
in May 2020, they announced that they had broken up and that the breakup was amicable. Later, however, in September of that year, Cassie filed a restraining order against Colton and alleged that he had been stalking and harassing her after their breakup. Do you remember like kind of the details here at all, Christy?
Yes. I remember when she filed the restraining order, obviously those records are public, so people started posting them online. And obviously the GPS tracking device was a huge
Hmm.
glaring part of the restraining order. But I remember and you have here when you wrote the notes, the unknown numbers, Google phones, texting her family, how invasive he felt, how he would be stalking her outside of her Huntington Beach, like family home.
Hmm.
It was very, very scary. And I think she later dropped the restraining order. But regardless, at some
Yeah.
point, she felt incredibly threatened and scared by this man, as did her family.
Yes. It is so disturbing. And that's why also it was so jarring when I was doing this research and reading up on the details of the stalking and harassment case. And then to turn on Hulu and watch him co hosting a show, it is so jarring because this is so beyond disturbing, you guys. Like, trigger warning, it
Yeah.
is just, if you have experience with a crazy ex-boyfriend who is off his rocker, maybe skip ahead. Like this is so crazy. So, speaking of unknown number, it's giving Kendra Lakari. One of
Yeah.
the things that Colton would do was he would send Cassie weird slash threatening text messages from a stalker from an unknown number, and then also text himself.
Oh my God, I forgot about that, Sophie.
Crazy. Okay, so I will read some of those texts, but first, uh, Colton was sending texts to Cassie and her friends and family from his own number before the anonymous harassment started.
Sure.
So he would say things like, "You're a selfish person." This was after they broke up. And Cassie is clearly trying to distance herself from him, and he's not letting her. He is having a problem with being rejected or losing control over Cassie. "You're a selfish person who isn't ready to be loved. I spent 2 years loving you the best I could, and now I'm sitting here feeling like a fool. You've hurt me beyond words. I've always done nothing but be there for you, and you still disrespect me all the time." And she's like, "What did I even do? What caused this? Why are you so angry?" Uh, just crazy stuff. He goes, "I'm not like your ex. I'm not going to sit around and let you use and abuse me. This playbook is all too familiar." Such a weirdo.
I remember this kind of being a thing. She had filmed a reality show before going on as a contestant of The Bachelor, and he weaponized this against her. He said in the same text message, "I remember telling myself when you went back and filmed Young once with Michelle during Bachelor to clarify your position with him, asking myself, if this chick just did that to her ex of 5 years, what's she going to do to me? I'm praying for you and hoping you have a deep dive within yourself and your motives with the people in your life. You have a good heart and good people in it. I hope you don't drive them away."
Yeah, so he would constantly weaponize that against her. That's such a good point. Like he basically accuses her of using him for fame.
Yes.
He also texts one of her best friends uh, a crazy amount, just a bombardment. There are screenshots from the restraining order filing, and it is like 35 texts in a row that aren't being
Oh
answered.
no.
He says things like, this is just a small segment of it. "I've held my tongue on a lot of stuff and saved her multiple times. I've always put her first." He's talking about Cassie to one of Cassie's best friends. "Put her first in everything I did. Want to know what I got in return? Her mom taking a trip to Paris with her." What? "Her sister taking a trip to Miami with her." So she goes on trips with her family members.
What?
That's good for her. "Her telling me she needs to feel independent and free." Yeah, that's pretty fair. Her admitting she's texting her ex of 5 years. Her seeing Landon, a guy who fucked her in her own home against her parents' wishes.
What is he
Th-
talking about? This is, and to be clear, on these screenshots, Linda's not responding at all. It's paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He also texted Cassie's brother about her. And this is after, like you mentioned, Cassie's brother saw him loitering in the alley behind their parents' Huntington Beach home at 2 a.m.
That I remember rang a serious bell for me.
And for reference, Colton is like 6'5" and like 260 pounds. Like he is terrifying. The fact that he was loitering in the alley behind their home at 2 a.m. is terrifying. And so Cassie's brother, like a good brother, like thank God, my takeaway from a lot of this is like, thank God that Cassie had the support system that she had during this time. Uh my God, he is so crazy. So Cassie's brother confronted him and
Oh my God, this is so
I
scary.
know
Sorry, I'm reading ahead.
Colton sent him paragraphs and paragraphs. "She went on The Bachelor, the same show that caused my anxiety and depression for nearly a year. She knew that show fucked with me in ways no one else knew. It messed with her too. We agreed to not talk about our breakup. In the first place she took it was the same people who harassed and abused me for a year." It's like, what is he talking about?
Yeah.
"I know you know Cassie, and so do I. She's a kind-hearted person who wants to be loved. She just did it at my expense this time. I have no one else in my life to talk to about this. I moved to California to be close to her and feel a part of your family. I don't have that anymore. I have no support system out here, and the one person who gets me doesn't want to be with me." I know I had plenty of issues or flags for your fam to deal with. I think he meant red flags, but I'm not used to this either. I needed the same grace Cassie got. Instead, I took the blame for most of it, dude. This is hard and confusing and lonely as fuck. I know I had plenty of issues. Or wait,
Yeah,
this is
same
hard
text.
and
Yeah.
confusing and lonely as fuck. Same text. And then the brother goes, to be completely honest, man, this isn't a conversation that I feel like I can totally have right now. Not really sure I can talk too much on this topic, talk for her, slash talk for her. It's just something you guys will have to talk and figure out. But as far as being lonely in regards to talking to someone about this, I'm sorry, man, that's a hard place to be. And I'm here if you need a call. But I'm not going to sit here and text back and forth about this. Just not my place. I texted you because I saw you in the alley and just wanted to check to make sure everything was okay.
Oh, and these timestamps, to be clear, when he said I texted you because I saw you in the alley, it's 2:44 a.m. in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And when Landon texts him that, literally within 10 minutes of Colton, Colton doesn't respond, and then he texts him back 5 hours later at 7:30 in the morning. Oh, I'm sorry for putting you in a weird position last night. So you catch your sister's ex-boyfriend loitering in the alley 2:30. He sends you paragraphs of incoherent gibberish. You respond saying, I'm here if you want to talk, but this is not a conversation we should be having right now. Then Colton doesn't respond, texts him 5 hours later. Like, it's so weird.
So weird. And then Colton also at the same time, while he's harassing her family and friends, is also still harassing her over text. And I know, crazy, sends her like a million texts. Yo, can you call? Can you call? This is after they're broken up. Says things like, I'm just sitting in bed trying to fall asleep, wondering if the woman I'm madly in love with is having a good time with her ex. I have a million questions and all of them I don't know if I want the answers to. My heart hurts a lot right now, and I miss my best friend, my lover, and the one person I never expected to lose. And thankfully, Cassie sets boundaries. She responds to him, and this is after is it barrage or barrage? I always
Barrage?
barrage. I always
Yeah.
pronounce it wrong. I'm gonna say it's barrage. A barrage of text. She responds, Colton, I really care about you too. I know going through everything is very hard and sucks, and I appreciate you calling me to talk with me, but also I don't want to make it into something it isn't. You know that us trusting each other and being with each other and caring about each other is still there. I don't think that this is something that should be able to flip flop so easily. And also, it's a different road we are navigating now that we aren't used to. Don't be upset. You know, I care about you so much. You know that. So, a lot of Cassie's responses are trying to not only set boundaries, but like be like, just be cool because we are public figures. Again, this was after The Bachelor. They were on the Bachelor series together. They are celebrities at this point. She doesn't want this to get out. She doesn't want this to become like a messy thing that it ultimately ends up becoming. And of course it does. Oh my God, he is so crazy. Yeah, she says, after he continues to harass her, she says, can we just be cool, please? My mom isn't talking to anyone. I know you're hyper paranoid about things like that, but I wouldn't lie to you. I have no reason to. So for me and for you, let's just be happy and not overthink or stress. She's trying to like calm him down
Yeah.
constantly.
To be honest, as I'm reading these messages, I'm concerned about his well-being.
Oh, it's so concerning.
Yeah,
Okay.
like and she probably felt that too. She probably felt I don't want to piss him off because what if he harms himself or does something extreme? Because
Or
this is not a
harms
person in
her.
a
Yeah,
yeah, in a sound state of mind right now, but based on these text messages.
totally. So, as for the fake stalker text, his fake stalker text to Cassie, and this is from an unknown number. This is so scary, you guys. He says, and by the way, just keep this in mind. This is coming from Colton. There's no fake anonymous stalker. This is from Colton, and he later admits it. Hi, Cassie. You like playing games, huh? Let's play some games then. Let's just say we used to be family friends. Be young, have your good time. You'll have nothing but regrets later with how you treat people. Smiley face, smiley face. She doesn't respond. Another smiley face.
By the way, the timestamps 11:11 p.m., 3:50 a.m.
Crazy. Totally seems like you're growing up, lols, living at home still. Making fun of her for living at home, I guess. Was wondering how long it would take for you to run back to an old flame slash hookup. So it's kind of mirroring Colton being paranoid about her hooking up with her ex.
Yeah.
The whole town knows all you ever wanted was to be famous. Congrats, you got it, but at what cost? Super fake. Wonder what Colton will think about this. Does he know you've been seeing Kaylin too? Lols, what's next for you? Say hi to B for me. And B is her ex, apparently.
No, so I'm actually so scared.
No, I
These
know.
are, and again, she's not responding to any of these, and it's clear he's texting from like a Google phone or from those like weird apps because it's coming in green. But oh my God, she's not responding to any of these messages, and he keeps going.
It's so scary. And then he does the same thing to himself.
Oh my God. No, Sophie, I'm like, actually, I completely forgot about all this. This is so scary. I forgot that he was texting himself. I know we said it up top, but like to see it on the screen is very, very unsettling.
Yeah. So he texts himself too. And by the way, B, Brighton, is Cassie's now fiance. So
Yes.
good for her. But he clearly was very insecure about B, Brighton, because he sends them texts about Brighton to himself as a stalker. Uh, Cassie has been seeing one of her old flames in HB Huntington Beach. Brighton is his name. Thought you should know. She also has been with her ex, Caitlin, several times since you broke up, but you already know that. P.S. Rumors are true. Her family doesn't like you. You should hear how they speak about you. Colton, question mark? You do know she's just in this for fame. We heard her mom set this all up. Why are you
God.
still, dude, smiley face, why are you still attracted to Cassie? She doesn't like you, dude. You are too square for her, lols. She needs a bad boy, and you're a def not that. Ha 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 ha. I'm picturing the voice from the Unknown Number documentary,
Yeah, like that
the
the through
scary
that
robot
voice.
voice.
Yeah.
The family obviously never liked you. You awkward fuck. Her mom made sure people knew that they were struggling with you. Rumor was having you in their house during COVID pushed them to tell Cassie to dump your lame ass. Get a job.
Oh my God.
So Colton used this to bond with Cassie and was like, hey, I'm getting weird texts from this like weird stalker.
Oh
Like, are
my
you getting these texts too?
God. Oh my God.
Crazy, like diabolical. So then, like we mentioned also, Colton placed a tracking device on her car, a small black disc on her like bumper area, I believe, to monitor her whereabouts. Cassie discovered the device, and that is when she contacted the police and hired a private investigator to investigate who the stalker was. Colton would also obsessively, so she wasn't fully living with her parents. She also had a place in LA at the time. And he would obsessively walk around and stalk her LA home.
What the heck?
From the restraining order, Cassie states that on July 27th of 2020, Cassie's friend Kaylin, who they keep mentioning a lot. It's either Kaylin's good friend. It's not Kaylin Miller Keys. It's
Right.
either Kaylin. It's either her good friend or an ex, someone who she was spending time with.
Based on these texts, it sounds like Caitlyn was an ex or an old flame
Yes,
because Colton's clearly triggered by this
Colton's
person.
jealous. So
Yeah.
Cassie's friend Kaylin visited her at her apartment. Colton somehow immediately knew and obsessively called and sent text messages to Cassie about the visit. Cassie was startled that he knew who was coming in and out of her apartment and felt like she was being watched. A few days later, Colton showed up again at Cassie's apartment, still upset again about Kaylin's visit a few days prior. He proceeded to yell at Cassie and threatened, I am going to keep you accountable. And that sounds like a threat, first of all. Second of
Yes.
all, just to remind everyone, 6'5", 250, 260 pounds. This is like a former NFL, even if he didn't really play, defensive end. Like, that is terrifying.
It is. And tr trust me, even though he's this, sweet baby-faced NFL, I'm putting hunk in quotes, people have killed their significant others
Oh,
for much less. It's incredibly, I wouldn't say common, but this exists all around us, and it's really sad that this was just thrown off. It's like, oh, he's just sad. He's just a sad ex. I've had friends who've been stalked by exes who show up at their house, leave notes on their car, with my friend not even realizing her ex was even in the parking lot. Like this is very, very
crazy.
traumatic for someone and leaves everlasting impacts on their brain and on their life.
Oh, for sure. Extremely traumatic.
Yes.
And like you said, like this is like how it starts with, something that could end very, very, very badly, domestic violence wise.
Yep.
Like this is how it starts. And it is him feeling like he's losing control. When Cassie, I believe she told Colton that she was involving police and a private investigator, that is when Colton admitted that he was the one who placed the tracking device
Yep.
and sent the harassing texts
He's
from
gonna be
that
found out
anonymous
eventually.
number.
Yeah.
Yes,
He was
he
just like, you
was.
know what? Whatever. Okay, it was me. Sorry.
Exactly. And I think he was trying to like do damage control. He's like, okay, we can like stop now. But her restraining order that she filed was ultimately granted, and it ordered Colton to stay 100 yards away from Cassie, her home, workplace, car, etc. And they had a court date set in October of 2020. However, Cassie ultimately dropped the restraining order with prejudice and requested the police drop the investigation and said that the two reached a private agreement behind the scenes. And I don't know, like, did he pay her off? Or maybe it was just she didn't want to go through the stress of like a trial in the public eye or anything like that. So who
I
knows?
don't
But
I don't blame her. I was going to
yeah,
say that if I were her, I would probably have done the same thing just because having to go to court and the documentation and the paperwork. I mean, let's not forget that they're in the public eye and very heavily in the public eye at this time. That itself would have been another traumatic event on top of an already traumatic event. I totally do not blame her and understand that she decided to drop it. She's like, I just want to leave it behind me and I want to move on.
yeah, exactly. So I watched a few YouTube videos about this, and I just want to read. There were some really good comments that I feel like shed light onto his motives because you might be wondering, well, he came out as gay. What was his obsession with his ex-girlfriend who was a woman? Priscilla Carmona writes in the comment section of a YouTube video I watched about this. I'm a family law paralegal working in California. I see these kinds of issues every day. So it is mind-boggling how we do not talk about this issue more. It is such a devastating event that is so pervasive throughout all cultures and societies. It's disgusting how often the perpetrator's behavior is normalized, passed off as love bombing or I will never give up for equals virtuous. You can clearly tell Colton views Cassie as a possession. That need to maintain power slash control over people is where all DV incidents, domestic violence incidents stem. I deal with some very egregious cases, physical torture and psychological violence. However, domestic violence always starts small and escalates when perpetrators test their victims' boundaries. The more they test and pass, the bigger the action becomes. I'm glad Cassie reached out for help when she did and had the resources to do so. People need to understand these behaviors will always escalate,
Yeah,
which
that's
is
such a
such a good point.
yeah, it's never just someone comes to your door with a weapon. It's gonna start small. It's texts, it's unknown numbers, it's loitering outside your
Yeah.
home. You start quote unquote small.
Yeah. And like you see in the text messages where he's like, she just wants to be loved and I want to love her. And like, I have no support system. I need my best friend. Like it's starting like, it's like, oh, he's just like a sad puppy in love. But really, it's manipulative and it's about him losing control. And
Yes.
he sees Cassie as a possession and not an autonomous human being. Like when he says she had the audacity to go to Paris with her mom.
Because she's my possession. How dare she go anywhere without my approval
Yeah,
or without
exactly.
me? That's just no, no way.
So this other comment from Cole Cherise on YouTube, I also thought was really uh insightful. It says, I feel like if a beloved, handsome celebrity NFL player and actor like OJ Simpson could stalk, beat up, and ultimately knife Nicole Brown to death because she rejected him and saw something dark in him, who's to say Colton, another golden boy NFL player and reality TV actor, couldn't stalk and eventually kill Cassie for leaving him? Love and infatuation makes people do sick things. They think they've lost something they had earned with that person, and they refuse to let another person have them. If he snapped this much over her breaking up with him, imagine what he'll want to do when she's moving on to a new love interest.
Yes.
Plus, he's probably furious and humiliated that she's reported him and made all of this public. He's basically undateable now to all other women.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
deservedly
true.
so. He shouldn't be dating anyone at this point. This is a dangerous person.
Yeah,
And
extremely dangerous.
if it's gonna happen with Cassie, it certainly will happen
Yeah.
to another individual.
And once again, like props to Cassie for
Yes.
advocating for herself via restraining order, for
Yes.
making it public so that people know that he's dangerous, for just speaking up in a way that maybe some women would feel afraid to. She really like had, just the balls. And I really, really, really commend her for, there's no like right way to act when you're in a situation like this. It was, I'm sure, extremely traumatic and terrifying for her, but she did all things right that you could want a victim of a stalking case to do. You
It's
report it to
right.
authorities, you you know,
Document
have
it.
document it with screenshots.
Yes.
Oh my God, just fucking terrifying.
Actually, that is such a good point. The fact that she went out of her way to file a police report. And I'm not
Hmm.
judging anyone who doesn't either. Like, that's totally your own volition. Everyone's journey is different. I think it takes a lot of strength and courage to realize that the person that you once loved or spent a lot of time with, that you integrated into your family, could potentially be a harm to you. And you're actively taking action to document it and make sure that this person's wrongs are made public. This is not okay. This is so sad. And honestly, I know how hard it is because my friend was legitimately stalked by her ex-boyfriend when they broke up. And when he was showing up pounding on her door, she called the police and she was even scared to call the police. She was like, I can't call the police on this guy. This could ruin his life, right? I'm
My
glad that she
God.
ended up doing it, but it's really hard to even take that step.
I know.
So she's a strong woman for sure.
Oh my God, it's freaking terrifying. God, like, fuck Colton Underwood. It's crazy. It's crazy. And now take this information that you have just learned, if you weren't familiar with the details of the stalking case. Know that he is, like I said, on TV right now, hosting a television show on Hulu, and also is cast on the upcoming season of our favorite show, The Traitors. Like, it is so mind-boggling. So, just a few short months later, in early 2021, Colton comes out as gay. During an exclusive interview with Robin Roberts on Good Morning America, he comes out and said that he had been struggling with his sexuality for quite some time and hated himself. And he's finally come to terms with the fact that he's gay, and he's now the happiest and healthiest he's ever been. And he also announced his new Netflix show, Coming Out Colton. And obviously, there was immediate backlash when the show was announced. Colton had serious allegations against him. And instead of confronting them or being held accountable, the show really kind of glossed over them and focused on his journey with coming out. There was a change.org petition with tens of thousands of signatures for Netflix to cancel the show. Of course, we know now that they unfortunately did not. Uh, but something that was interesting, he also did an interview with Variety when he came out. And he disclosed that an anonymous individual sent him an email threatening to release nude photos allegedly taken during his visit to a Los Angeles spa known for catering to gay clientele. And the sender claimed to have been taking compromising images of Colton and threatened to expose them to the media. Colton forwarded the email to his publicist, Alex Bellier, making this the first time he openly addresses sexuality with someone close to him. He later acknowledged that this incident played a significant role in his decision to publicly come out. And he also said, this is when he admitted that he had been on Grindr and had sexual encounters with men prior to going on The Bachelorette on Becca Kufrin's season, claiming to be a virgin. And all of this, like I said, the announcement of the show garnered a ton of backlash. And also him choosing to come out when he did garnered backlash, even though, you know, coming out is never easy. And
Sure.
applaud anyone who comes out publicly. Obviously, you know, it's also someone who was in the NFL, like a very masculine, you know, locker room environment. I'm sure it was hard for him to come to terms with this and to finally come out. So great. But obviously, the timing was kind of sus to people. Uh,
Yeah.
a lot of people felt like he was trying to control the narrative, rehab his image after the stalking incident became so public, and distract people from his problematic actions. Writing for them, journalist Rafi Ermac called Coming Out Colton. So remember, in tandem, he comes out and then also announces this new show. Little more than an empty and soulless PR stunt. And notes that the series ultimately sidestepped Colton's real story by avoiding accountability. Lance Bass also offered Colton some advice when he came out, suggesting that announcing the show as he was coming out was indicative that he was like trying to monetize his
Yes.
coming out.
Yes, objectively, that's correct. That's factual.
Yeah. So I refuse to watch Coming Out Colton. I draw the line at watching Coming Out Colton. I watched a little bit of Are You My First? I will not watch this. So I'm sorry, I asked ChatGPT about Coming Out Colton and how they exactly sidestepped his stalking scandal. Basically, the premise is mostly about, I mean, it's obvious, how Colton comes to terms publicly with his sexuality and navigates life as an openly gay man after years of hiding it. So it documents his process of accepting that he's gay, the self-reflection and emotional challenges he faced prior to coming out publicly. It shows Colton telling his family and friends, capturing their reactions and the dynamics of reconciling with loved ones after keeping such a significant part of his identity private. It covers his decision to come out in Good Morning America. It shows him exploring the LGBTQ community, dating, and his identity beyond the context of being a former reality TV star. He learns about gay culture and attempts to connect authentically in his new chapter of life. And it only briefly touches on the stalking scandal.
You know what?
In
I have to admit, I watched the first episode when it came
no,
out.
Christy, no.
I know. I don't even know why, what willed me to do this. I haven't watched Girls. I haven't watched Sex and the City, but I watched the first episode of Coming Out Colton, and that is on me. And you know what? I'm willing to own that. You
You have
know?
to live with that.
I have to, I have to live with that. Exactly. But I remember distinctly curious about how he would address it. And to your point in your notes, I do recall, I couldn't tell you anything about the show. Genuinely do not remember a lick of it. But I do remember this one scene. He was in his kitchen in his like newly renovated home that he had just maybe bought. He was in the kitchen with like I think a high school, it was a woman I remember he was talking with about the scandal. And of course, like they want to portray him talking to a woman about the stalking of his ex-girlfriend. But he basically said it was a dark period of my life and blah blah blah, blah, giving all these excuses. And it was the woman who was responding back to him saying, you know, I've always known you as a great guy, trying to put him in this life as if he was such a normal man who made a mistake. Like I remember just that kind of imprinting on my brain. I don't remember the specifics. Again, it was years ago when I watched this, but I felt like it was very intentional what they were trying to do to bring a female into his home, vouching for his character, when in fact it's the screenshots show a different story.
Yeah.
Angel, you're no angel either.
You're no angel either, sweetheart. Thank you for being boots on the ground and having watched Coming Out Colton. I can't believe you gave up after episode 1.
I
Wow.
I mean, again, I'll have to live with this for the rest of my life. I'm even ashamed to admit this, but I was just very curious. The curiosity pushed me to do so, but I couldn't tell you what the whole show was about after that.
Yeah. So he, like you mentioned, brushes over it, says that, he was fucked up during that time in his life and he made a lot of bad choices, quote unquote. And, like as we were reading some of those texts, it's very obvious that he was going through a very difficult period and was struggling with his mental health. That is not an excuse to terrorize someone and put a tracking device on their car.
Yeah, there's got to be some boundaries, and there was not a single boundary for his own mental health. You can't bombard and traumatize someone just because you're going through it. Plenty of
Right.
people go through it. You got to deal with that on your own. Talk with a therapist, seek medication from a psychiatrist to help your anxiety. There's so many other avenues than attacking and harassing someone that was once a big part of your life.
I've crashed out over an ex before. I have not once showed up at 2 a.m. in the alley of their parents' home
Correct.
or harass them and myself from a fake number. It literally is giving Kendra Lakari from unknown number.
No, it genuinely is. And we did an episode on Kendra Lakari on our Patreon yesterday, patreon.com/snarkbaitpod. But let us not fail to mention that not only is Cassie traumatized by this event, but her whole family, it seems, were
Yeah.
dragged into this,
Yep.
and not at their own volition. They were
Yeah.
totally brought into this whole circus, and they didn't sign up for any of this. They're just a normal family living their life, and they have their daughter's ex just loitering and trespassing around, the perimeter of their home. How dare he? Bringing in the sister, saying that, even we didn't mention this, but in the text messages, Michelle Randolph, Cassie's sister, was dating Greg Sulkin at the time that Colton and Cassie were together. And not Greg and Michelle catching strays. He starts saying, "Oh, beware about Michelle, Greg. She's using Greg." Just bringing her whole family into this circus that they didn't ask for
Mhm.
is completely diabolical and unforgivable.
Also in those texts where he's like, when he's pretending to be the stalker, pretending to be like an anonymous stalker, he goes,
Yeah.
she just wanted to be famous.
As if you didn't. You're the thirstiest one out of this franchise, Colton. Shut up.
Exactly. Exactly.
He's so thirsty. Oh my God, he pisses me off. Shut up.
I know I hate him. So obviously the show got, panned and heavily criticized, like we said, for brushing over the serious nature of the allegations against him. It focused obviously more on his coming out journey than accountability for him. And Them magazine described the series again as a distasteful extension of a brand that doesn't mean much to begin with, kind of suggesting that the show served more as a vehicle for Colton's public redemption arc than a kind of genuine exploration of anything deep or his past wrongdoings.
Yeah.
And it's crazy that Netflix gave him this platform to do this. Like, it's crazy to me. It's wild.
And I keep thinking back on this. If the roles were reversed and Cassie was doing this to Colton, and Cassie came out as a lesbian, do you think in any world Netflix would have given Cassie a show?
No.
Cassie would still have any relevancy today? And sorry, I'm just going on Colton's stupid, stupid Instagram. Guess how many Instagram followers he has today?
He has like 1 point something million.
1.8 million.
1.8 million.
Who is still following this man?
It's crazy.
What
Oh
does he
my
have to
God.
offer on his page that is of any value?
Literally nothing.
Like,
Nothing.
ugh.
And so I feel like there's this tension between the fact that he is, it's groundbreaking that he is the first past Bachelor lead to come out as gay. Like, great, we want to applaud that. But at the same time, he, as a person, did this terrible, scary, horrible thing. And there's no excuse for it. And so him trying to tie those two things together, I think a lot of people find troubling.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh, freaking Colton. So in 2022, Colton confirms he is engaged to Democratic strategist Jordan C. Brown after beginning their relationship in late 2021. In 2023, the two get married. And in 2024, Colton and Jordan welcome a baby boy via egg donor and surrogate named Bishop Colton Brown Underwood. So he's a family man now, you guys. Like, all is forgiven. He's a family man.
Yeah. I mean, let's just completely eradicate from the internet everything that he's done. he the thing with this is I'm not saying people aren't deserve second chances or they can't ever build a better life. If Colton has genuinely sought the help that he needs, I'm happy for him. But at the same time, the fact that he is given such public opportunities
Mm-hmm.
in spite of all this is where I draw the, is where I have a problem with it. Like, I'm not saying people are, you're irreparable and you can't make it out of like a dark hole. I hope for Colton's sake and his husband's sake and their child's sake, he has made it out of this dark hole. But that doesn't mean he should be granted any kind of public endeavors like he has been. That to me is unacceptable.
Exactly. It's like it's not just him. It's these reality TV execs that keep
Yes.
pushing him on us.
Yes. No
That's
one's
what's like,
asking for this.
no one's asking for, like, who is a Colton Underwood? I mean, I guess there are 1.8 million, but it's like,
Yeah.
what? Like, it's just so confounding to me.
Yeah.
So, as for the present day, like we said, he has been cast in season 4 of The Traitors, and this was a very controversial casting decision, along with Michael Rappaport. You are not happy about this because The Traitors is like huge. It is like such a vehicle. Look at Gabby Windy.
Oh
It's
my
such a
God.
vehicle for people to, for ex-reality stars to uh become super relevant again and become part of the cultural zeitgeist. Look at Dylan Efron. You know, he's on Dancing with the Stars. So it's like, oh my God, we are once again giving him this massive opportunity instead of giving it to someone else who is actually deserving and not someone who traumatized their ex-girlfriend. He also, like I said, is hosting Are You My First on Hulu alongside Caitlin Bristow. My God, you guys.
And honestly, fuck Caitlin Bristow for even partnering with this man.
Yeah, it makes me side eye. I mean, we have a Caitlin Bristow episode. If you guys need other reasons to side eye Caitlin Bristow, she has a lot of facepalm worthy moments that we have discussed. But yeah, this makes me side eye her also. It's like, what are you doing? Signing on to this in tandem. Like, she doesn't need this.
No, her podcast is incredibly successful and she's earning a lot of money from that. This is just a stupid project that in fact dilutes and waters down your brand.
Yeah, exactly.
This is not a good, who is her team telling her that this is a good idea just because you can be on a random show that no one's watching? You're not hosting Love Island. This is not a show anyone cares about. Like, this is not worth it. The juice
Yeah.
is not worth the squeeze.
And actually Abby Montiel from Daily Beast wrote a review about Are You My First. It hasn't gotten good reviews. Clearly, no one is really talking about it. We didn't even know it was out. All 10 episodes released August 18th. And there's so many, like I said, I watched like the first 20 or 30 minutes of the pilot, and there's so many virginity puns, obviously. But Abby writes for the Daily Beast, our host's cheeky double entendres don't change the fact that there's a smarmy conservatism embedded in Are You My First basic premise. It quickly becomes clear that the show's concept of virginity is a heteronormative one centered on penetrative penis and vagina sex. One woman recalls an unfortunate fingering incident years before, and another guy is shocked to find out that his bro hasn't at least, quote unquote, gotten head. Our society at large might perpetuate this idea, but that doesn't change the fact that at the end of the day, virginity is a myth. In reality, there is no single definition of sex, and some people simply aren't interested in it. Asexuality. Oh my God. And they bring up Colton's restraining order, thankfully. Let's not forget, you guys. Underwood, whose Bachelor winner Cassie Randolph filed a temporary restraining order against him in 2020 for alleged stalking and harassment, has been open about how his own self-proclaimed virginity stemmed from religious trauma that prevented him from coming out as gay for years. Putting aside his thorny past, why is he so eager to host a show obsessed with gamifying straight sex in the first place?
Yeah. How does this have, well, I guess the virgin element is why they probably nudged him, but still
Still, it's
stupid.
just like so disgusting, so gross. Yeah, like we said, Caitlin Bristow, why are you doing this? Uh, Colton Underwood, go away, please.
And if you're following Colton Underwood, I'm curious as to what is his content? I don't follow him, so I have no idea what he's doing as an influencer or what his career is, nor do I care to even see, but just curious.
No, I know.
Why?
Let us know, you guys, if there are any Colton Underwood fans. I don't know what you guys call yourselves. Carpenters? No, I just keep because that's what Sabrina Carpenter fans call themselves. So like now I just call every fan base that I don't know the name of Carpenters.
Yeah, it's stupid.
But yeah, it's so confusing why reality TV execs still keep doing this to us. Like what am I missing? Let us know, you guys, if we're missing something. If there's something about Colton that you love and we're just not, it's not clocking to us, let us know. Uh, Cassie, for her part, got her happily ever after with Brighton Reinhardt. What a name, by the way, who is the ex that's obsessed with in some of those text messages. Good for Cassie, good for Brighton. I'm glad that they have escaped Colton's wrath.
Yeah, and talk about how Colton was claiming Cassie was only in it for fame. Cassie was so quiet after her exit from the Bachelor franchise. After her and Colton broke up, you never heard about her really. She was just kind of, she wanted to do her own thing, and I respected
Hmm.
that. And it just shows that Colton really was the thirst monster all along, not Cassie.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's like compare it to people from that season, including like Hannah Godwin, Tasha, Kaylin,
Kaylin,
who are everywhere to this day.
yes.
And not that there's anything wrong with that. They're capitalizing on becoming reality stars. But compared to them, Cassie has stayed so under the radar and so low key.
Do you know what? I bet you she is probably so trauma. I'm not saying this is the only reason, but I bet you she sustained so much trauma from this relationship with Colton and the public scrutiny that this whole circus had, that she just preferred to just stay out of the spotlight altogether. She was probably like, I don't want anything to do with my name out
Yeah.
in the public, in the media. I just want to live a very quiet life with my family and with my fiance, and good for her. She's always been a
Yeah.
queen. I don't know. I've always just really liked her.
So
She just
you
seems,
liked her when you watched Colton season.
yeah, she just seemed really normal. Like you would go to high school with her. She was like a normal girl who was just laid back and cool. I don't know. I didn't have anything bad to say about her when watching her. Though I didn't like Kaylin, who was her best friend on the season. Kaylin always gave me a bad feeling, but
So
I don't
many
know any.
Kaylins. Like, why are there so many Kaylins?
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, you guys, that about wraps up our Colton Underwood episode. God, what a piece of shit he is.
Yeah, thank you so much for walking us through this. I knew all about it back in 2020, 2021, but it's crazy to be reminded of this because hearing you read off these texts were incredibly unsettling, but it's good that we're spreading awareness about why you shouldn't watch Colton's shows or endeavors or anything.
But how am I supposed to boycott The Traitor season 4?
Oh God, I know that's really gonna be tough.
I can't not watch The Traitor season 4.
And that's something we'll have to live with, but I think that can be acceptable because he's part of an ensemble cast.
Yeah, like I'm not watching for him, obviously.
Of course. Yeah. So you guys, thank you so much for listening. If you guys want more of us, patreon.com/snarkbaitpod. Yesterday, we did an episode on the Netflix documentary Unknown Number, like we mentioned earlier. Next week, we're doing a deep dive on a very popular workout fitness studio that you guys have probably taken. And we have a really much requested deep dive coming next Thursday, the
Ooh, I'm so
18th.
excited.
Yes.
Oh, by the way, Colton was also on The Masked Singer last year. So
He's a
once again,
professional. Yeah. He's a professional reality star.
oh my God, I can't. Okay, sorry.
So you guys know where to find us. We're at Snarkbait Pod on Instagram. Sophie is at Soph_Ross. I'm at Christy Noel__. Thank you to Jordan, our producer, Rachel, our social manager, and Olivia, our researcher. And we'll see you guys either on Tuesday for Dark Energy Tuesday, Patreon, Instagram, wherever you find us. Thank you guys so much for listening. Bye.
Bye.